Dicejunkies. I'm Zeno Damas. I'm here with
you.
And on Skype, we have. All right, let's get this started before we get in trouble here. What do we want to talk about first, man? I mean, we got Riot and Bungie team up to sue a cheat maker. Lawsuit claims Gator cheats cost the makers of Destiny 2 and Valorant millions of dollars, and it's now payback time.
Neither one of those games is doing that well. It's because the Gator cheats our games didn't do well. Ooh.
Well, I have heard several people say they don't play those games because cheating is rampant. Now, here's the thing.
Stop Call of Duty, and people use aimbots on it all the time. It's still one of the biggest shooters out there. So,
damn it, Blood Axe.
What did Blood Axe do?
Read the chat. Anyway, so Riot.
They trying to catch me rolling dirty.
Riot and Bungie. So yeah, no, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, yeah, no, it definitely costs them money, but I mean, other games have developed ways around these types of cheat measures. So
also, they try to just be fun, and people still play. I mean, you can also set up servers, can't you? Or do they not? They may not have that though. I know a lot of games they try to also set up like servers, and then they kick you the F out if they catch you cheating. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah.
I don't know if this lawsuit's going to work though, because it's one of those problems of we write cheats, but we don't tell people to use them to cheat in competitions and stuff. So it goes back to almost the whole First Amendment and guns. It's guns kill people. Do people kill people?
It's almost one of those things where you have to prosecute the people who are cheating, not the people who are making the software.
I mean, technically, you know who actually, when they buy the game, fill out the little agreement to not cheat? It's the players. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get how cheats can be a problem, but this is where this gets that. That's like me suing you because someone took a car you built and ran over my kid, and I don't sue the driver. I want to sue you, the car maker.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Or somebody tries to sue Dicejunkies because too many people were watching our show at work and not getting their work done.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it gets into that whole
wedding dream.
They didn't. It gets into that whole, you need to stop the cheaters because the cheaters are the ones that are cheating. Suing the cheat makers, first of all, you're never going to stop the cheaters, like cheats being created. In fact, you know what happens when you go after the internet like this? It backfires horrifically because they'll just put them all out for free, and then they'll spend the next year making nothing but Destiny cheats. It's a bad idea, A, but B, your player base needs to stop cheating. We've
seen that type of mentality before where, you try to strike up against something like this. And, I mean, or games cheats will just make their code open source. And then.
Yeah, Gator Cheats just goes, we're just going to distribute this to the
here,
net.
It's open source now. Anybody can.
Next thing you know, everyone's naked in Destiny 2. Next time you log on, running around with big floppy wongs. You know what I'm saying? So it's like. I mean, just being honest, like, you need to, because here's the thing. Is it the job of Gator Cheats to not make cheats, or is it your job to make your game not so easy to cheat in? It gets into that. Like, you're getting into a weird territory of, hey, you cost us money because our game's super easy to cheat on. And I'm not trying to pick on Destiny 2 because I like Bungie, but, like, every game has cheats if you look hard enough. Literally every game. I can find a cheat for any game that exists out there. But there are certain games you don't cheat on because when they catch you, the punishment's very severe. You know what I'm saying? It's very severe. Blood Axe, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, no. Like for example, me and Blood Axe like Gears of War 5. Thus, we are cautious about cheats, and we don't do them. We play Borderlands. You remember when we had an offer to get a lot of modded equipment, and we said, nah, man, I don't want to get locked out of the game? You remember that? Yeah, we got SIP modified equipment and deleted it immediately. We kicked it out because we're like, no, dude, we like this game. If they catch us, they may block us out of the game. We don't want that to happen. So, I mean, every game has it. But you build an environment and also punishments that makes people not cross that line.
Now, here's something I'm also curious about.
Now, I cheat really hard on games I think are crap.
They don't mention it here in this article, but is Gator Cheats selling their cheats? Because I was looking at this other Activision had sued this other company, but they were selling cheats.
I mean, does it matter if they're selling it or not, though?
Well, yeah, no, that definitely matters.
Why?
Because they're making money off of it.
Off of cheats, though, not the game. They're making money off of the cheats they're writing.
But it's by hacking the code of the game. They're modifying the game and then selling it. Basically, they're making something that modifies the game.
That's hard to call.
It's sort of like some of the companies that have stopped mods because people were selling mods.
Well, I think that's BS too, though. So,
yeah,
because to me, mods make people play your game.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same vein, though.
There are literal games that I only downloaded because I found a mod. For example, Kingdom Come Deliverance. The first playthroughs was annoying, but boy, when I went back and modded it, it was fun.
Well, I'm not talking about the right or the wrong of this. I'm talking about the legality.
Legality, yeah.
And selling definitely changes.
Oh, no, I'd never pay for cheats. I can't believe people are selling them. I'm like, you can get cheats for free.
Were you going to say something, Clinton?
Blood X.
Blood X.
Well,
yeah, shut it down.
It's also what you're visualizing.
If you're using a cheat, just block the accounts. You're done.
Mm-hmm.
You can't play anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what they should do.
Yeah.
That's what they do with most of the games that we play on Xbox. The PC, it's a lot more difficult because we have people that are smarter than the guys who wrote the code going and hacking the code.
Yeah, hold on just a second, Blood X. People are having trouble hearing you. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, you know what? I know what it is. Put on your headset. It's not going through the soundboard, so we're gonna have to go change it over to the headset real quick. Do.
Yeah, you're right. I don't hear him through the headset. Thank you, Wood and Bye.
Alrighty.
Say something, Blood X.
We should have
Something Blood Axe.
Hey, I hear you now. You hack.
I know. I
All right, so
messed up there.
Basically, what Blood Axe, the recap, said is he was pointing out the fact that, if you're selling a modified version of the game, you're right. I was visualizing, when I hear cheats, I'm visualizing like this is a code or something you put in. I wasn't visualizing them actually modifying the game itself and selling like a modified character. If you take a part of the game, modify it in any way, and then try to sell it back, no, you're right. You're selling a portion of the game. I was thinking like, there's trainers that just allow you to go in and go, I get more XP, like, I get more gold, or I go in and I increase my strength score, which to me is not so much them selling you a
single
part
player
of the game.
too.
True, I don't do him. I wouldn't cheat in MMO, man.
That's where we're talking the difference too. Is these are online games versus.
Well, Destiny's is PvE though. It's you versus the computer, so it's not.
It has
PvE.
rankings though. It also makes money off of pay to win stuff.
Yeah. They actually sell a lot of in-game content. And probably some of the hacks are jacking the equipment.
Yeah.
Now that's a problem. See, a lot of the games I mess with don't have these practices.
It's one thing if you do it, Skyrim, Cyberpunk, stuff like that have nothing to do with any. I mean, it's there for your enjoyment.
Recently, Disgaea 4.
Yeah, but once you open up the doorway to cheats on your MMOs and your PvPs and PvEs.
Now, still, the accountability depends to me. I'd have to see what the cheats are, though. There are some cheats that I'd be like.
Online.
That are, you should you always got some money for selling this. Other cheats, I might be like, I don't think that's really going to be a big $1 million lawsuit. Because you said they're suing them for millions, man. They're not suing them for pocket change. They're trying to get these guys for big bank. And I'm like,
Well, I mean, once again, I've heard people talk about the rampant cheating in these games being a reason they don't play them. So that it is a loss of revenue for them. And if you're going to sue for loss of revenue, you're going to try to get as much as you can out of it. Most likely, Gator cheats probably doesn't make millions of dollars. They probably don't have millions of dollars. It's probably never going to. But if they can get a lawsuit against millions of dollars and that person has to, then they can also write that off. They can go, look, this person lost. We got it proved in lawsuit. They owe us this much. Obviously, they can't pay. But
that makes sense.
When it comes down to their financials, they can go, well, we lost money because of this. It's not our fault.
We know that, because, honestly, even if somebody did buy a cheat, they're not paying a lot, dude. Cheats are free most of the time. I can't believe Gator Cheats has made millions of dollars off of this.
No. They'll never get the money from Gator Cheats.
We'll see what happens, but I need to hear more because I'm still on the fence. This seems like a cop-out for your game not doing it, especially that other game, because I don't even know what the hell the other game was. What was it, Valorant or whatever? Yeah. What the hell is that? Like, at least I know Destiny 2. That other game,
Yeah, when Activision sued, they were suing against Call of Duty Warzone.
Call of Duty's a huge game.
And then Ubisoft sued a cheat maker for Rainbow Six Siege.
Rainbow Six is all right. I can see Call of Duty with how big Call of Duty is.
It's a big franchise, though.
Yeah. Call of Duty, I get it. That's a huge game. But, I don't know about Destiny 2. Destiny 2 is pretty big. But Valorant, bullshit. I don't think Valorant's worth millions of dollars.
I don't even know what Valorant is, honestly.
There you go. It's not even in my, I've never even heard of it.
I'm going to have to look this up on Google real quick because, I don't know.
Nah. Whoa, did that say 4.1? Yeah, they know they full of crap.
Valorant. Yeah, I've never even seen anything.
I think I've seen a few videos, but it didn't catch on YouTube.
I think I've seen somebody on Twitch play it.
Every now and then, but it didn't catch on, though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Now, note, maybe it didn't catch on because of the cheating. I'll give him that now, because now that I remember it, Omewrecker and his boys and cartoons played a bit of it. I saw H2 Delirious play a little bit, but they only played a handful of videos, and they went back to, Dead Before Dawn or whatever. They went back to Dead by Daylight and the other big games. So it only popped on for a little while and died off real fast. Now, if they can prove that it died off because of the cheating, then I apologize. Because it did die fast. And if it died because of the cheating, that kind of sucks because it was trying to pick up and it just went whoop.
Yeah.
They may have a case. Destiny 2 has the seniority and been around long enough. I don't really think Destiny 2 lost that much money to cheating. But I could be wrong. We'll see. You know what? I'm man enough to go back and go, my bad.
It can be a lawsuit we keep an eye on,
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Let's talk about Ninja Gaiden, man. I thought this was pretty cool when I saw this. Ninja Gaiden's, I'm going to massacre the name, so I'm not even going to bother, has a new studio.
Tomonobu Iragaki.
All right, there you go. Would be honored to work with Xbox. Basically, this guy, he was the guy involved with Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden sort of dropped off there after a while.
Well, it's because he made other crappy games.
Yeah, he ended up making some other games. He made us Game Studio, Valhalla. Basically, a lot of people give him a lot of crap because of a game called Devil's Third.
He's also on DOA. He also worked on DOA.
Yeah. Devil's Third was a game that was released for the Wii U, which honestly, the Wii U was.
Especially at that time. The Wii U is still not the system. It's starting to become this, but the Wii U was not the system to play
here's the thing.
Modern
so with Nintendo's history, they came out with the Wii. And the Wii was innovative, new, different, and had a stick, and it ended up doing really well. The Wii U was sort of that experimental phase where they were trying to figure out what they wanted to do, and was their transition over to the Switch, which is the
Switch was what the Wii U was supposed to be, and was not.
So. The Wii U was a clunky system, man. I mean, you played the Zelda on that Wii U that you borrowed from our other buddy,
good friend Ben. Yes.
Yeah, and you yell at me when I mention names, so I switched over to other buddy.
Hey man, I'll rep Ben.
Anyway, Yeah, I think it was a clunky system anyway, so that's not necessarily a good telling on how big of a mess up you are. But anyway, apparently he got out of game development for a while and was was teaching people about game development, and now he's decided to get back into game development. He started up a new studio, and is hoping that he can hear from Xbox, and maybe we'll see a new Ninja Gaiden or something of that style.
That's the part I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden, was an Xbox thing, and they need more OCs. They need iconic characters because PlayStation is just rounding up all those guys. So I would love to see Ninja Gaiden become a Xbox focused. Bring our boy back and focus on that being a Xbox franchise, something exclusive. Yeah. That would be pretty cool. And maybe get another DOA finally.
Here's
they're
the
not
thing.
even looking at making another DOA right now.
I mean, Xbox has been showing that it has interest in Japanese game makers. It is specifically mentioned several times in the recent past few months that it is looking to purchase a Japanese studio, work with more Japanese studios, and they're wanting, they're leaning for the Xbox Series X to work and be more friendly to the Japanese audience.
Well, they need to because poor Nintendo's having to carry that on its back because Sony's abandoned.
That's the thing. I mean,
Sony's abandoned Japan.
It's a good market for them to target because of some of the issues with Sony and the Japanese it's been sort of a rough ride lately.
And while Nintendo Switch is pretty good, it's still not a next gen console.
No.
So there's an opening. Yeah. For a next-gen console for Japan that doesn't hate Japan. Because and honestly, as much as I dislike Sony, I don't know what they're doing there, though. I am perplexed by their attitude toward their Japanese audience. I don't understand. It's, weird. I don't know what the heck is going down there. I'm actually, for once, instead of happy, I'm just outright confused. I'm just like, but you had Japan on a lock. Why are you ditching that market? Maybe they're getting that good Chinese money on the side or something. I don't know, but they have just they don't seem to give a flip about Japan anymore, man. I was just sitting there going, but that was you. That was all you. I mean, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Hey, go, Microsoft.
Yeah, no. Now that I'm hoping to transition over to an Xbox console from my PlayStation, I am all about this.
I don't know if you're allowed to use that word.
What?
You didn't even get it. None.
Yeah, no, I'm confused now.
Don't say that with.
Oh God! Now I know what you're talking about.
You're not making it any better.
That's a dumb joke. Don't even. God. Let's get a random encounter in.
Rolling. Rolling.
Yeah, I forgot I left the dice.
Blood Axe, why don't you roll for us?
Yeah, we'll get Blood Axe to roll for this one. I can do Google to roll for the next one.
It's okay, man. It won't be hard for him to access the rolling.
I don't know. I see this.
He's not moving, though. His screen is frozen.
And he's got a weird face on him.
You froze with this weird grimace. That's hilarious.
No, I rolled a 3. Do you hear me?
Yeah, but your camera's acting up, bro.
All right. 3. Time to think. Best advice you have ever read or heard.
So this one I put on here because when I used to work at a different hospital, we had a daily calendar that had a bunch of sayings on it. And one of the best ones I cut it out and taped it next to my cubicle because I thought it was actually pretty powerful. It was, but the advice says, if you don't want people jumping down your throat, don't open your big fat mouth. Which I thought was absolutely hilarious. So I do tend to talk too much. So that was kind of the beginnings of that question for random encounters.
All right. Q?
As another person who talks too much, one of the most interesting ones that for me was always it's also been in many a fortune cookie, but it's the old one of a wise man will stay silent and allow himself to be thought a fool, a foolish man will open his mouth and remove all doubt. And it is an important lesson to me that has taught me at times that sometimes you need to stop and acknowledge that, maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And then sit back, and I've been amazed that when I do stop sometimes, you'll be like, I'm glad I wouldn't have wanted to said that. Now, because when I say stuff even nowadays, I mean everything I say, but I do stop and try to make sure I mean what I say when I can help it. But that one was always a big one when I was younger, because I've seen so many people, they don't know what, they're just going, man. And the bad part is that they don't know what they're talking about. And I see people looking at them, and they're like, and I'm like, oh, that dude has made a fool out of himself in front of everybody. And that's a good one. The other ones are just the art of war, man. Almost anything out of the art of war is weirdly enough applicable to everyday life. You'd be shocked how like business and education and how all of that, you can approach it with that book and just be like one of the ones is you should be subtle. No matter what advantage you have, you should always be subtle and leave people guessing. Good advice. So yeah, I know I went there. You can call me a Asiaphile, but almost all of my favorite ones come from China. Old school China, not current China. But Confucianism has some real cool stuff in it, man. Even though it's been turned into silly fortune cookies, there was some actual, genuinely interesting advice in there.
All right.
What about you, man?
I don't know, man. I don't remember these things. Like I consume them. I take the value from them. But as far as trying to remember quotes and stuff like that, it's never been really one of my things. I mostly remember funny shit. So
there was some good stuff in the Kama Sutra, if you ever read it.
Yeah.
Real good advice. I'm not even being burly. Like learning how to kiss properly, I learned by reading Kama Sutra, and I was like,
wow.
Oh, wow. Hey, they had some good advice in there. One of the ones in there is don't slob all over them. That's in there. Like, do not slob all over someone when you're kissing them.
Like sometimes some of my coworkers will leave weird notes. I have this one coworker who leaves notes on my desk sometimes, and I pissed her off one day, but she's the sweetest girl in the world. Like, she's like super sweet. And she wrote me one that was, smiley face plus mark equals frowny face. And so I stuck that on my cubicle. She hates it. But when I look at it, it makes me smile. So,
but I've seen your smile, and your frown is preferable.
So yeah, no. But it also it reminds me to maybe not be as to try not to keep my straight face on all the time. Try to be I don't know, a little softer in my words. Because she asked me a question, I was busy doing something, and I was like, 1 minute. And I think I scared the crap out of her. She was all, because originally she was in a good mood, and I was just like, and then she stuck that note to my cubicle.
Smiley face plus mark equals frowny face.
And so now I have to lock it up whenever I go on vacation or anything, because she has tried to steal it because she feels bad about writing the note because she's so.
You need to turn it into your thing on your emails. A little pic.
Yeah.
You need to turn that into your profile pic.
Yeah, or make it the signature for my emails.
There you go. Just, every time you send it out. We are unpleasant people to work with.
Yeah. There's like a chain of them under that now, which is like, mark plus smiley face equals smiley face plus times 5,000 and stuff like that, because she's tried to reverse it. But I'm like, no. This is the one.
This is the one you will be forever remembered for. As I stated. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's the best advice. This is advice all three of us know. Back when I was younger, one of the best pieces of advice I saw written down was from a rapper who had made that mistake of making a video and gotten a lot of trouble. And his advice was, don't type it, don't record it, because it'll never go away.
Oh.
Am I wrong?
No.
They're still going back and pulling tweets from years ago. Kevin Hart got in trouble from a tweet, from a joke that was like years old. So he was right. Don't type it. Don't record it.
That's hard to do when you're a comedian, though, and you actually, live off of recording and.
Well, your other thing is you can pull a George Carlin like we do and just decide we live off the vitriol.
Yeah.
Somebody comes back to me and goes, I can't believe you said that. I'm going to be like, guess what I'm about to say now?
Well, see, and that's always been my problem with that, is, no, if you record it, just to fucking own up to it. That's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just go, yeah, that was me. I said that. So what?
I've slid 4 inappropriate jokes into this show that most of you didn't catch. You think you caught them all? No, you've missed several.
All right, so let's talk about inappropriate. Mortal Kombat.
Oh, hold on, I got something to say to Blood Axe. Hey, Blood Axe, Meals on Wheels, man. They don't know what I'm talking about.
Mortal Kombat reboot teases Sub-Zero. Mortal Kombat reboot teases Sub-Zero Mythology's retcon, along with several other things I know that you've read.
I was looking forward to this, and I still am, but that's not the real twister. It's the fact that apparently the main character is going to be an OC that was created by a director named Cole Young. And introducing an OC as the main character to a Mortal Kombat reboot, to me, is asking the fan base to hate your movie before it even comes out. Because no hardcore fan of Mortal Kombat wants a Mortal Kombat reboot to be about none of the Mortal Kombat characters. That's just a really dumb idea. Like, I am literally sitting here going, like, you are really going for something with that, man. Like,
well,
wow.
I mean, what got it in the news for this week was the whole Sub-Zero thing. They had played an intro, and basically they were saying that it might now be Sub-Zero who holds a grudge against Scorpion, and so that the reboot may be departing a bit from the origin of Scorpion and Sub-Zero's.
Obviously, like I said, he's rewriting every character, it looks like, which is going to be interesting, but does also seem like it's going to be like, it's not going to really be Mortal Kombat in a sense of it's going to be a whole new story. Now, I still intend to check it out unless I just see something that really, hits an emergency flag. Mm-hmm. But I know it's going to get its butt torn a new one for all the changes before it even comes out.
This to me though is the change, that if they're gonna get a lot of crap, it's probably gonna be
screwing around with Sub-Zero and Scorpion's brave, because that's like, a tale as old as time.
Yeah, these are beloved characters, probably the two most beloved characters.
And the one thing they don't screw with, it's like, hey, Sub-Zero and Scorpion, man, this is, you know what I mean? This is here. We don't mess with this too much.
Like, this is a duo that you shouldn't touch.
That's like going, Ryu and Ken don't know each other. Oh, this is not going to go well for your movie, man. Like, it's like, we're going to screw around with the generic Sub-Zero. But, I mean, they haven't even mentioned Liu Kang. And Liu Kang is popular. So I'm really curious that they're replacing Liu Kang with Cole Young, and how that's going to fly. We'll have to see how that goes.
This is one of those things where the thing is, they also did say that this is one of those Warner Brothers things, so it's going to go into streaming at the same time as it goes to the cinema. So if you have like HBO Max, you can just watch it and not have to worry about spending money to go see it.
The other thing is they're going rated R with a lot of fatalities, so I'm going like, well, who you killing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that one of the biggest problems with a Mortal Kombat live action movie or anything has always been dealing with the fact that technically Mortal Kombat's super lethal, but yet none of the main characters are dead. So it kind of creates this, you got to find a way to kill a lot of people while not killing anyone important. So I'm guessing there's going to be a whole roster of, expendable opponents, I'm guessing is what's going to be required. But I'm not really interested in this Cole Young
like the
thing.
video game, you just kill everybody, and then the next one, you just forget about it. Just ignore that everybody died.
I mean, they do that too. But Well, time shenanigans is what they're using these days for that.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious about them choosing to make an OC main character. I think that's going to definitely going to be really, really risky. And I think that's going to make or break it. Though Sub-Zero Scorpion being screwed up is worse. If they screw up Sub-Zero Scorpion, the movie's dead.
Yeah.
But if they also screw up this, I want to put my OC in. Because also, come on, dude, we're kind of getting sick of this OC crap. Like, god dang it. If this is a guy named Arthur insert, and I am going to be pretty pissed.
Well, yeah, and I know
I'm getting tired of this Arthur insert.
That's been a big issue with several
Spock
things.
and
Video games, movies.
animated shows. It's look at my OC, and then you're just like, oh, Lord, here we go again. And Mortal Kombat has more than enough characters. It does not need more. It does not. There are so many characters that haven't been on the movie screen yet that I'd like to see. Like, I'm a big fan of Trimmer. I like the character Trimmer. He's a Earth ninja, man, so he kind of fills out the elemental. There's, what's his name? The Wind User. I just blanked out. But, I mean, there's a lot of other characters that are popular that have not made their way into any movie. He could have just pulled from the roster of characters who have not had a good on-screen presence yet.
Yeah.
Like Rain and other characters that had really poor debuts in that terrible sequel, and just do them right. He didn't have to OC. I really felt like he should have pulled from what's there first. But instead, he went straight for the OC. So good luck. I'm going to watch your movie, but I'm going to warn you, you've already lost some of the fans already. He immediately lost the fans when he said, I'm changing Sub-Zero's backstory. And then he lost some more when he said, Cole Young's the main character. Like, he lost a chunk of them right there. So we're going to see how it turns out.
All right. Well, let's get in one more random encounter because I figure the next section is probably going to take up the rest of the show. And
I mean, it's an interesting topic.
Yeah. So,
all right. Go ahead and roll for us.
I'll pull up a Google and get Google to roll for us real quick. Let's see. Roll a D20. 18.
Yay!
Oh,
Google got
no.
you.
Google was listening.
Go ahead there, Zeno.
All right.
And it was your role, too. Have fun.
Yeah. Let's see here. 18 is, Zeno's Tasty Animals. What is your favorite animal meat and how is it prepared? I mean,
my answers for that are
bacon. I mean, that explains the type of meat and how it's prepared. Bacon.
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 For me, it's also pork, but I'm about to freak a bunch of people out because my favorite part of the pig is them chitterlings. Made me a batch just a few weeks ago, man. I bought that slow cooker just to make chitlins, man. That was the main reason I bought it. Was I will say, chitlins, as we
growing
say,
up, my brother used to make bacon in the microwave, which was all right.
It's a good way to degrease it. Actually, you put a bunch of paper towels under it. It takes a lot. Of grease out.
He had we had one of those plastic racks where the grease ran down.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I prefer to put it on a griddle. You can get the grease out that way,
True.
and you get a good crisp. I like my bacon crispy.
George Foreman
crispy
grills
bacon.
do it pretty well too for degreasing it and crisping it pretty well. Yeah, I like it a little crunchy. You're right, like a little crunch. Yeah. But pork either way is the winner for us. What about you, Chef Blood Axe?
Actually, I like chicken just because of the different things you can do with it. But my favorite way to actually prepare it is to sear it on the stovetop and put a little bit of olive oil in there. Sear it about 6 seconds on each side, just enough to seal the outside so the inside stays nice and juicy. And then I'll use different flavored seasonings or different rubs and bake it in the oven for about 20 minutes so that it stays nice and moist because no one likes a dry chicken. But and then that way you're eating the same meat, but you're flavoring them in so many different ways. It's almost like having a different meal each time, even though you may be doing like a paleo or a primal diet. So you're not getting bored of chicken because you may have Cajun one day, you may have garlic and herb the next, and Italian seasoning a third day. So I'm flavoring in different ways so that you don't get bored with it.
Yeah,
but I do like a nice moist, juicy chicken.
I will say if it came between pork or chicken, it would probably be chicken, but it's a specific type of pork that has its highest point, you know. But if it came to the whole palate, chicken's more versatile, and honestly, it's cheaper, it's easy to get a hold of, and you can make it a lot of different ways.
I'm tired of chicken.
Yeah.
I tired of chicken real
is
fast,
really
man.
good.
But then again, I've never. I mean, I'm gonna lie. Not a lot of. I don't cook, and it's hard to get a wide variety of chicken when you're eating out. That's done well. But man, when it's done right, you're not lying, man. Like Rooster's Chicken makes a chicken sandwich that I mean, I could eat that thing 3-4 days a week.
Oh.
So when it's done right, chicken is really up there. But dang it, chitlins are like. I'll put it like this. I spent 4 hours cleaning those chitlins. I wouldn't spend 4 hours prepping chicken.
I never forgot.
You know what I mean? I would not spend 4 hours prepping chicken.
We do have one more topic before the main one that I forgot about, which was WandaVision came out this week. Highly, like a lot of people giving crap about this. Like, I scanned through it. I did not watch the whole thing, but the jokes were bad. I'm not a big pun person, and it was some really old school bad jokes, bad laugh track. Now, the minute in each episode of meat you get seems like it could be interesting.
But like you said, it's like a minute or two of actual.
And oh my God, how do you put, like we calculated it up between the credits and the intro, you have like, it's a 30-minute show and 9 minutes of it.
There's an average of 9 minutes of like intro and exit credits. There's not even almost a whole 5 minutes of the actual hints at what's wrong. They're very short. They're hints, but here's the problem too. Unfortunately, we all know Wanda's powers, so we have at least a rough idea of what's happening. What did Woonenba say? Hold on, let me get my glasses on here.
Woonenba said, I loved it, but I'm old. I don't see any young people would enjoy it as
Lucy.
it's riffing on I Love Lucy. And I enjoyed that
grew up
part
on
of
Nick
it.
at Night.
That was a cool concept, but it just didn't hold for long.
Yeah, it was
Like-
really cool for about 5 minutes. It's way more than 5 minutes an episode of retro jokes. And having to sit through so much, what I think it is that they have a little too much of it before they get to the actual hook. Hey, look, this is in color.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. That there has this symbol on it. I'm not going to spoil it, just to
Yeah.
point people in a direction. Oh, look, they said this word that's referencing this place. But that happens 2 or 3 times at best in the whole episode, and it's very short. And when it's not doing that, it's pure retro.
Yeah, and I mean it's at the highest level of cheese too. Like they are intentionally making this as cheese as possible. Now, don't get me wrong, I haven't written off the show yet. I'm just saying these 2 episodes fell a little short. If we start getting more meat, it still could be a good show.
The greatest crime somebody brought up that was really smart is they said this should have been done Netflix style. They should have put out the whole thing. Because as one person stated, he said, it's not that it's bad. It's just that he said, I don't feel like waiting a week for something to happen because I'm losing interest too quick.
Yeah.
And that's what seems to be happening is most people, after the first 2 episodes, they're already kind of bored and want something to happen. But now you've got to wait a week. And what's going to happen is people are going to stop coming back. So if the 3rd episode is probably the last chance because I've already heard a lot of people say 3rd episode is the last chance. A lot of the reviewers already said episode 3, they're going to have to hook you.
Yeah.
And that's bad because if this had been a Netflix full release, you'd give it 4 or 5
Well,
episodes.
that's the thing.
But you're only going to give it 3 if you're waiting weeks.
If you released the first 2 episodes together, you should have hooked me in the second one. I could have seen the first episode playing out the way it played out.
Mm-hmm.
But the second one, you should have hooked me.
People were already losing interest by the second one.
And you didn't really give me a good enough of a hook. You threw in a little bit. Yeah, Wooden Ball says it's seeding the mystery slowly, and yeah, it is, but too slowly in my opinion.
Well, here's a perfect comparison. Legion had 1 hour long episodes, like really long episodes. And here's the difference. Legion had a lot of entertainingly interesting things going on while you were waiting to see the Shadow King.
Yeah.
While you were waiting to see what was happening, there would be a lot of interesting things happening in between then. In this case, it's a lot of boring things happening in between then, so you can't stretch out. Plus, the show's episodes are so short. You're getting very little content for each time you sit down to it. And that's what I think is the mistake, because let's be honest. Yeah, dude, I grew up on I Love Lucy. I watched Dick Van Dyke. I watched all these. And when I was watching the first part of it, I said, okay. But about halfway through, I was like, okay, come on. Come on, where's what's happening?
The good and the bad thing here, too, is it's very family friendly. But I don't think it would keep kids' attention. You know, I think if you sat down with your kids, you could sit down with your kids, watch this, it's great. I don't think it would keep their attention either, because even then, the references are way too old for them to get.
Plus, the crossover of comic book fans and fans who like retro black and white TV shows are not really that tight. You're not going to find a lot of people who enjoy both sections as much. So you got a conflict of some people like, I like retro stuff. What was with the red red this? And then it's like you're going to have people that are like, oh, finally, some comic book stuff happened. Oh, God, I got to sit through another. So it's interesting, but I really felt one episode was the limit before they needed to get into the juice.
Like I said, I'm going to sit down, watch the whole thing, not just skim through it like I did.
I'm going to give them one more.
Oh, you
are?
And I'll watch episode 3 when it comes out. I'll probably spend Saturday or Friday, depending on what happens. It'll be Saturday.
I challenge you to sit through and watch episode 1 and 2 without playing on your Switch or your phone.
Oh no, that's not gonna happen with anything, dude. I'm a multitasker. I cannot just sit down and watch something. I will at least be playing Animal Crossing.
I mean, I have a bunch of theories, so they have managed to get my theory juices flowing. But honestly, I much prefer the way I'm doing it, which is I'm watching. We'll call it abridged. I'm watching abridged versions where I'm watching the scenes where they're actually seeding things and skipping the other parts. And that's probably what I'm going to continue doing until the episode's no longer 80%.
I picked up Dragon Quest 1 on my Switch, so I may just grind some levels on that while I'm watching it.
Remember, you go out of town with no weapons, and then you keep punching slimes until you can just straight buy the copper sword. Yeah, you don't need any weapons for a while.
Well, no, this one. I mean, you get the spear. You know, those 3 chests that are in the King's Chamber when you first start the game. You get like 120 gold.
Yeah,
and
you almost have enough for the copper sword. Yeah, so you got to go and you go back and you get that copper sword.
You get the copper sword, then
you run around in your underwear with a copper sword.
Yeah, and then if you get the copper sword, you can one-shot everything.
Yeah, you can kill werewolves in one hit, and you can go get armor and
then
stuff.
You can get your leather armor and all that. Yeah. Now I remember, man. I remember.
Yeah, I remember to this day. Man, I still remember where go to the swamp to get the helmet.
But you don't want to punch everything. You want to at least equip the
I sold
bamboo.
the spear so I could get the sword faster. I was very adamant to get the sword.
Well, no, you sell the spear to get the sword, but you go out with the spear.
Look, I was a kid. Okay, I wasn't that smart. I just knew I wanted the sword. I sold the spear immediately, punched monsters, and then got the.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to realize when Dragon Warrior 1 came out, I was a child.
Yeah. All right.
Not that old.
So now you can see how interesting WandaVision is because we just started talking about Dragon Warrior. All right, so let's talk about the real meat that's been going on, and the topic that I found the most interesting this week, and that was all the stuff going on with Lucasfilm Games. Lucasfilm Games announced this week their rebranding. And several partnerships throughout the week were announced with Bethesda, Ubisoft, and still doing stuff with EA too. But I mean, we're seeing Indiana Jones. We're seeing some new Star Wars, open world Star Wars coming from Ubisoft. I mean,
it finally happened, dude. A lot of people have been waiting. EA has lost its choke grip on Star Wars, and finally other people can make Star Wars games.
Well,
properly.
I mean, their exclusivity I think ends in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, game companies starting to do their games. This is the perfect time because it gives them 2 to 3 years to really start get a good game cranked out there.
So that when the exclusivity drops off, they'll already have their games ready.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, there's games that are going to be announced like within days. It's probably that weird. I'll be like, boom, we got Star Wars, and it isn't EA. It's a shame when you've managed to get such a bad rep that people just are excited to hear someone that isn't you is making games.
But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this, man. But yeah, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
Yeah, I like that they're finally trying to make stuff people ask for because they know that they're about to get a lot of competition.
But yeah, no, I mean they're showing off some interesting stuff. But yeah, LucasFilms games. So I mean we had the Lucas Games new partnerships means the galaxy's the limit. This Disney-owned company just announced a new Star Wars title coming from Ubisoft and an Indiana Jones game coming from Bethesda. And that's just beginning, which it is. The Indiana Jones is actually really interesting to me. Like I know we're going to talk a lot about the Star Wars stuff, but the Indiana Jones is supposedly basically a love project of Todd. Oh crap! I just lost his name. Todd Howard. Todd Howard from Bethesda, and so he came to Bethesda Lucasfilm Games and pitched this. So I'm curious, because I mean we've never really had what I would consider a good Indiana Jones game. We got a new Indiana movie that I think is supposed to come out next year in 2022.
Is it Kathleen Kennedy doing that?
I have no idea. But so following 2022 with the movie, we'd probably see an Indiana Jones game in 2023 or maybe even later, depending on how Bethesda works on this, because Bethesda can be slow. We know this. The fact that they said anything about it though makes you think they might be something they speed up on, especially with that Microsoft money, getting behind them here soon.
At least money won't be a problem.
Yeah,
Microsoft will give them the money they need to get these games out. So at least with that not being an issue, it's now just getting it done.
Mm-hmm. Supposedly, they set aside from coming to Logos, the game will seemingly revolve in part around Vatican City, which they get this from a little teaser that they dropped, which had some books and a plane ticket to Rome, and just different little clues in the video, given their concept of the Indiana game. Obviously, the Indiana game is not in any kind of
which also pleases me because it seems they're
form.
going back to the original mythos in Indiana Jones. They're not going further down that alien hole, because that was just really weird to me. I know you don't feel the same way I do, but Crystal Skull to me was just a very odd entry into the whole series, and I'm glad that Todd Howard seems to agree. It is like, we're going back to the, relics and history and archaeologist stuff, and we're no longer looking for flying saucers and stuff.
Yeah, which the 2022 movie is supposed to conclude the character's story. So
not if the game has anything to say about it. Boom.
Which honestly, unless you replace the actor, he's getting on up there, man. So
that's why
you
video
sorta,
games are a better way to go on with the story, because you can't. Harrison Ford, nah.
Harrison Ford can only do so much, with the time that's left here. He's getting up there. But no, it'll be interesting to see what Bethesda does with Indiana. Now, the big thing is the big door that is opened up for Star Wars. So I'm gonna let Q and Blood Axe talk a little more on this. I know there are big Star Wars buffs. So what do you think about this, Blood Axe?
Well, a couple of things. Number one, I'm excited that we're actually getting some competition for EA because competition normally breeds better content. Because if you're not going to build content the fans are going to buy, then you're not going to last very long or make any money. Number two, and this is probably one of the bigger questions that are on the fans' minds, is will we get a real KOTOR 3? Not an MMO, but a for real KOTOR 3 or KOTOR reboot. But that's still by far the most popular Star Wars game that's ever been made. My concern in doing some research into this is apparently you have to pitch the idea to Lucasfilm Games. And my question is who is leading Lucasfilm Games and whose agenda are they following? This can be a really sticky situation because you've gotten a little bit of goodwill with the fans with The Mandalorian. The Book of Boba Fett seems promising. So you're starting to get some fans trickling back in that were soured since the Disney acquisition and the content Disney's put out. But if it's going to be a Kathleen Kennedy agenda, then yeah, you can count me out, and probably a lot of Star Wars fans too. But if it's going to be good Star Wars content that tells great stories, then it can be very exciting. I'm going to reserve my optimism, but I am curious.
I gotta give a shout out to Wooded By for the best joke I've seen in a while with his Crystal Skull felt like an Assassin's Creed 2 ending. Very accurate too, where this was like, oh, here's what's going on. Now there's a golden apple and aliens. Oh my God. Like it literally is kind of that weird, but at least there was some sci-fi element Assassin's Creed. Like that came out of nowhere for Indiana Jones, man. It just felt like they were going like da 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 Star Trek. And you're just like, whoa. Okay, we're just going there. But with the other advantage of video games and with this too is because they're not live action, this story could be placed anywhere in the timeline for the video game Todd Howard wants to make. I mean, it could be in between the Ark and the Holy Grail. It could be after the Holy Grail. It could be before the Ark. So video games have a lot more leeway to play with to jump at different points in the storyline and tell stories and thus dodge like Crystal Skull, because I'm sorry, no, I don't think anybody wants to touch that. I mean, to me, the biggest challenge for the 2022 movie, and I'm sorry, we're supposed to be talking about Star Wars. Anyway, you're right. It really depends on who's going to do it. Now, the good news is that it is people pitching. So it's their money to lose. So I don't think it'll last long. Like, if Kathleen Kennedy ends up being the person they've got to pitch games to, she'll just show how bad her whole agenda is again when all these games just shut down because the games won't make money. Because you definitely are not going to automatically make money on a crap game. The gaming industry is a little more picky than the movie industry and stuff. People aren't going to pay $70. They might pay $10 to see a bad movie, but they're not going to pay $70 to play a bad game. You know what I mean? Not that often. So if bad games start coming out and she's screwing it up, it'll be very visible. So, hey, I say go for it. Try it. Because ain't nobody buying that. I mean, the only reason Last of Us 2 did as well as it did is it was flying off of the great reputation of the first entry and the DLCs that were very, very good. But Star Wars doesn't really have a great reputation for all of its video games. Not all of them. So people come at Star Wars games with the grain of salt and kind of eye it. If it looks bad, you know what I mean? It's not going to instantly sell just because it's Star Wars. I mean, what was that? The Fallen Order? The Fallen Order was eyed very carefully by people before they got into it. They did not just buy into it because it was Star Wars. You know, so I'm expecting the same thing here is that if it's the Favreau faction or just people who want to see this succeed, you'll see it in what comes out. But if it's the other faction that wants to push agendas, you know their games don't sell. We can look at the gaming industry. It's very clear what sells and what doesn't. It'll fall on its face. It'll lose Disney. Well, not as much because it's the game studio that'll lose the most money. But Disney doesn't like failures on paper either. They don't want anything that's tied to them failing. So it'll draw the mouse's ire again if she pushes out a bunch of crap games that have direct sales numbers that are harder to fake. With the streaming service, you can, bull crap it a little bit. Well, people are watching, yeah, but they're not paying. But with video games, it's a straight, how much does this game cost? How much did it sell?
Just a little bit of a recap on what Blood Axe said. Looking at their Wikipedia page, of course, it was LucasArts before it was Lucasfilm Games. And they, back in 2013 is when they had sold the license off to EA. They had let off all of the LucasArts employees, dropped it down to like 10 people just to deal with licensing. The Wikipedia doesn't even tell you who the president or main person is. The only key person they know of is the vice president, which is this Douglas Riley, which nobody knows who the hell that is either. So, so as of right now, I guess they haven't really pushed out the information on what they've done to this company, other than they're like, "Hey, look, we're actually going to start pushing these licenses."
It could be in flux right now with the Civil War going on at Lucasfilm. It could be in flux.
They announced the transition of the game, the title of it, and obviously they announced a lot of new partnerships. But as far as who's over what and all that, none of that has been announced yet. So this will be one of those things of.
We'll know pretty quick, though.
It could make or break this whole deal, who's ahead of it. But
I mean, we're going to know pretty fast. I mean, because the reason why is just the first few games will let you know real fast what they're about.
Well, I figure, details within Disney do not stay hidden for very long.
Doomcock.
Yeah.
Doomcock will have answers.
There's a lot of voices that come out of Disney and start talking.
If not him,
so
then Clownfish.
We'll start hearing probably more on this later. What was that, Blood X?
Yeah, WDW Pro usually gets a lot of information out as an insider very quickly. He's a good follow.
So yeah,
or she.
I am curious if they have more than 10 employees now. Like
it's just a yay or nay crew, so it still may only be 10.
Yeah,
because they're not making games; they're just yay or nay.
Well, but they
pitches.
said they were going to try to work in closely with the developer. So I'm figuring they're going to probably hire some storytellers, try to get some people to sort of keep the lore in.
That's expensive.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're building a franchise, that's what you're going to want to do, because you don't want to give a open license to just do whatever the hell you want. And they basically said that's not what they're doing. They do want to make sure that this stays in line with their vision for these franchises. So now
the question is what's the vision?
And yeah, that's the biggest thing,
And one of the questions I would have is, does it have to go through the Lucas Storyboard Group for approval as part of being canon, or you give it more flexibility in having to go through less hurdles? Because we all know going through the Storyboard Group, they're the ones that get pissed off because they knew nothing about Luke Skywalker coming in The Mandalorian and through the High Republic basically out to dry. So I am kind of curious to see what kind of checks and balances as far as what all you has to go through for approval for these studios to get these games approved. Because that's where if they have way too many limitations, you're going to have people that are really creative that can make good stories saying, you know what, this isn't worth it. I'm going to make something else.
Hey, Blood X, they're going to put them through the storyboard, but where are the dinosaurs and droids?
Oh, no.
We want dinosaurs and droids and diversity, the 3 Ds, triple Ds, but no actual triple Ds. We want flat chests and then our triple Ds.
And we want people in wheelchairs to be represented, too.
It's got to be hover chair accessible?
Hover chair?
At least that makes more sense than some. You better get me out of here.
Yeah,
bring it up.
I don't want to talk about where you are leading. Anyway, so yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this. This is one of those things where this could bring. I mean, it hopefully, like I said, open world Star Wars game that leads us closer to KOTOR. It leads us closer to that type of game when you start talking about an open world Star Wars game.
I mean, I heard Old Republic dropped in there somewhere. I was like, ooh.
Can I just want to customize the lightsaber again. I loved that part of KOTOR.
Remember my rare orange sunfire crystal with fire damage on it, man.
Like that was my favorite part of KOTOR was the tinkering with my lightsaber.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
tinkering with my lightsaber is my favorite hobby.
Well,
Also
yeah.
KOTOR. But I don't know. I like the customization, double lightsaber, dual wielding,
Yeah.
great lightsaber. Remember, you could have the basically equivalent of a Zweihander lightsaber. And of course, I had the big Mandingo lightsaber, man.
Which I mean, obviously, just being able to tinker and do that kind of stuff with the lightsaber wasn't what made KOTOR great, but it was one of the many elements of it, you know, and it was one of my favorite elements. It also had a great story, and we need another Star Wars game with a great story.
KOTOR 2, man, really did well. And also, we might get to see our boy again, HK-47, man, you know.
But I mean, a story alone will not support the game. You gotta add those mechanics in there that make it fun while you're going along with the story. So
I want to see it. Come on, guys.
all right. Well, I think that's gonna wrap us up, man. I'm like I said, once again, looking forward for the Lucasfilm things. That is probably the biggest thing of the week for me. Like I just as soon as I saw that, I was like, man, should we do a special episode on this? But
the news kept rolling
there was
out.
still information coming in on it, and I mean, honestly, we still don't have all the information because we don't know what all the checks and balances are, who's actually heading this thing.
Dude, some people haven't talked about it because they're waiting. I know why we haven't heard from Doomcock or some of those other guys yet. It's because they're waiting. Because the big question is whose faction is in control of approving?
Yeah,
these
you
games?
got the weird flux of Disney and Star Wars right now, and so
is it the ruiner, the ruination of all Catholic Kennedy, or is it the New Hope, real New Hope, Favreau?
yeah. So who does the Marvel Studios games? Is that going to be?
Oh, who cares? They're shit.
Because I mean, well, I would like to see some really good games come out with Marvel as well. You know,
Avengers was horrible.
And being the Lucasfilm and Marvel Studios is all under Disney.
If you saw what they were doing with the comics, oh my God, that last, what is it, the Humans? Oh, the artwork is so terrible. I've given up on Marvel. Like, the live action is the only thing I'm even watching now because the comics are so bad, I can't expect anything quality out of them. Like, you really ought to go look what Marvel's cranking out for comics now. It's amazing how bad and trash. Like, you would not think these were the same people. I can go to any con and see way better. There are some skilled artists there, many of them actual former Marvel artists that they don't hire anymore, anybody with actual talent.
Oh, yeah.
But these characters look like something that my kid drew, and my kid's good, but he ain't great. Like, he's great for his age, but he's not like comic book level, and he looked like something he drew. Like,
we've had questions with the Marvel universe now, though, so it's not just the comics, dude. Like a lot of upcoming projects come out of there are questionable. But anyway, all right, guys, thanks for watching. As always, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, be sure to like, follow, you know, all that good stuff. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. You can like and all that good stuff there. Dicejunkies.com is where you can find links to everywhere we can be found online. And, of course, we do this live show on Twitch every Sunday at 3:30. So if you want to join us in the chat room.
3:30-ish.
3:30-ish. But, yeah, if you want to join us in the chat room, you can get on Twitch Sunday. That's Central Time, by the way. So just for your area. All right, guys, thanks for watching. And as always, we hope you enjoy.